Give me the actually I can set a timer.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Judi Neal, and this is Sam Chan. We are going to interview Sam today with the 5+1 questions from the Conscious Leadership Guild resource team. So, welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Judy.
So, my first question for you is, would you tell me a story briefly about how some spiritual wisdom has touched you or supported you in your life?
I guess the one that I would say the most significant one would be at one time I was listening to a Buddhist lecture where the monk would say something like, let me have your garbage, let me have your bad habit, let me have your illness, let me have your germs and all the crap that you don't want, and let me take it with me, and I'll keep it for you until when you're ready to have it back. I'll be glad to give it back to you. Until then, I'll be protecting it, I'll be safeguarding for you. So that was the major one for me.
Wow. So, how have you used that in your life?
I use it more often than I should. A lot of times when I cannot help someone by talking, I will usually hug them and whisper this in their ear.
Oh,
So, for example, I met someone in the class that she has insomnia for like 2 years, and she believed that there's no way on earth that any medicine, you should try everything, go to classes, everything, medicine and all that. It doesn't work. I say, well, I say, give me your insomnia. I'll be glad to keep it for you. And I might enjoy a little bit of it because I never had one.
oh, that's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that wisdom. So, the next question is about Conscious Leadership Guild and what kind of wisdom and experience can you offer the Conscious Leadership Guild to the dialogue that we're having about conscious leadership?
Yeah, I look at that for a long time. And I think for the best use of my whatever ability resources is that I'm a CEO, so I execute a lot. I firefight a lot. I get myself into trouble and get out of trouble a lot. So I'm very good in practicing that. So for execution, for supporting, for technical difficulty, so I like to play the role of being in the support in the perspective where someone get into stuck into some place and don't know what to do, whether it's technical or structurally something. I'm a very logical thinker. I take the emotion and put it aside and then get my thing straight, and then the emotion can come back
Maybe you gave that emotion to the Buddhist monk.
for now.
Well, and your role in the Conscious Leadership Guild resource team is really a wonderful example of supporting us technically in so many different ways. I see you having another gift, and that is the gift of humor and maybe also the gift of storytelling. Would you agree?
Yeah, I guess I tell story because for me, it basically like the concept is so complicated, and if I simplify, give a metaphor or give a story personally that people can relate to, it makes things so much easier to understand. So I
Yeah.
love story. I probably read, I don't know, in the neighborhood of 30 to 50,000 fairy tales book.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have a big library of stories. So when my kids are growing up, I would co-create story with them,
Hmm.
sitting next to the kitchen table.
I once heard Lee Bowman, who wrote this, what do you call Leading with Soul was the name of the book he wrote. And he talked at a conference and he said, the primary way we pass on spiritual wisdom is through stories. And it sounds like that's something you do.
Yeah. And the way I think of a story is that you think of it like a piece of cloth that everything all weave together, it all hang up together. That's the best way to keep all the things in check and balance. So that's not a way to do it. Think of it like a jewelry where everything's all hang together beautifully. A
Yeah.
story allows you to do that, and in a very beautiful and easy, so much easier to remember.
Thank you. So, what do you see as your learning edge or your leading edge right now? It's like, what are you excited about discovering and learning right at this time?
Being playful.
Yeah, and you bring that to Conscious Leadership Guild. You love to play
I
and
love
help
to
others
play.
play. Yeah.
And for me, it's a play give you a different energy level. It's sort of like a turbo boost to get up to the next level where
Yeah.
energy is really important for any learning experience. So if you have slightly less energy than the learning require, then the learning becomes suffering.
Mm.
And when the energy is way beyond, it's like a big tall man playing with a young kid. You can do whatever you want. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. So it's like when your energy is so much more than the play require, the learning require, it's so much easier. So I like to see, okay, what can I do? How can I see in a way that it will energize me? It will allow me to go to a higher place where the learning becomes such an easy thing. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to worry about survival mode.
So, how are you learning that? How are you learning to be more playful
How do I learn it to be grateful?
and lifting energy too?
I think probably because I read encyclopedia, I'm very curious, I'm hunger for knowledge, and because I know so much about everything and everything, I will read anything and everything. I will go to a bookstore and never come out. I don't know even where my wife is.
Yeah.
And, and I get into trouble a few times for that. So I'm hunger for knowledge. So the thing that the more you know about a subject or many subjects, it allows you to see the ease, what they call the interconnection,
Mhm.
the all the things. So it's like you look at a page. If you all know all the words, it becomes a story. If you look at a page like you're writing in some foreign language, it's sort of like, oh, I can't even get the third letter down. So sort of the fun part of it is if you read the story and you know all the words, just like life, all the things that are coming at you, you reckon, oh, that's one, okay, that one, that one. It's like know all the people in the party. It's like you become very talkative. If you don't know anybody and everybody is sleeping out, like, okay, then you quiet down. So the playfulness, I think, comes from the more you learn, the more you open your heart to something and be not in the victim was like, oh, I don't want to be here. I'm just stuck. It's like, okay, what could go wrong? What's the worst thing can do? So my question is like, am I going to die from this? No, if I'm not going to die from it, can I afford it financially? I can afford it, then I'm good to go.
Yeah, keeps it really simple.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is playfulness is highly related to an open heart and to consciousness. And
that's
so if you can get into that playful mode, you're much more effective.
that's right.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
agree. Thank
So
you.
what do you long for now? What is something that you long for in the future that's unfolding and emerging at this time?
I'm a big thinker, so I would love to have the population of the world become our member. Every one of us, we see
Yeah.
each other in the equal way. We're
Yeah.
one with maybe the children in Africa that don't have enough to eat,
Mm.
maybe the child that right next to the Ganges River trying to find something to eat, maybe the soldier that have a gun behind the back and try to, do whatever he need to get done. If if we can have a world where we all can love each other with an open heart and walk into anybody's home and be able to say hi, I
Mm.
think that would be the world. So I'm a, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that beautiful global vision. Everybody's included. Yeah.
I mean, we have enough of food to feed the world. I think 7 times over or something. But then people are starving. Why is that? There's no need to.
Yeah.
And
That makes sense.
and I was, I actually have a realization today that something that I would like to share is like I always think of people like spiritual people. They are like the pilot. So they fly across whatever to destination. They don't look at a traffic jam. They don't look at a jungle. They don't look at a mountain. They don't look at all the physical problems that people have. So now today I realized something. Spiritual people is out in the stars and all that. So of course they are the big picture. And of course, a human being as we are, we look at the small, like the little ants crawling and moving the sand. And so when we are in the spiritual realm, we are always look at the big picture. So of course, there won't be a problem. Of course, we can do that. Of course, we can. We think spiritual. We think big picture.
Yeah, that's definitely what we want to aim for as members of the Conscious Leadership Guild and as human beings.
That's right. That would be my dream.
Thank you. So, what kind of support would you like to invite for you and your journey from the Guild?
Invite. Uh, I would say being an example to me is the biggest thing of all. I would invite every member of the guild, be the example of whatever you want to be.
Mm.
If I may see that, people are step into whoever they say they try to convince me. I mean, some people say that, what the best way to learn something is to write a book, right? Some people say that the best way to learn something is to teach a class, right? So for me, it's about, the best way to learn something is to be the example you say you want to be. So, because that way you now create what I call mirror neurons, and you have no choice but, so like right now I'm sitting down, it's very comfortable. I could stand up, I can stand up, and you can see that your body feel like you want to stand up too. Just because the mirror neuron affected you, even though it's through Zoom. And that be the example is the most powerful thing you can do for another human being.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's how, like Gandhi said, be the change you want to be in the world,
That's
want
right.
to see in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So thank you for all of this. My last question is you get to choose one of 5 questions. Do you have them in front of you?
Yeah, I have it.
Okay. So if you look at that list, you get to choose the question and answer it.
I would pick the first one that's like, every question I can answer is just like, I'll keep the time short. What's one thing I could share that would help you to know me better? Reach out. You have my cell phone number. Every email I have signature, I have my cell phone in there. I have my cell phone on my website. I have a cell phone every email I send out and reply. Reach out. So if you want to know me better, reach out. I'm always available. Text me, call me, email me. The best thing to do is, I think, is longing for in any situation is the connection.
Mm.
And the best example I always give is something like, I'll give you a $500 coupon, and you can eat dinner in any restaurant you want. Of course, order whatever your heart out, right? But the only condition is you eat alone. Now I'll give you the $50 version, and you can share with your best friend. Now, which dinner would you go to? And what's the difference? Because the connection allows you to amplify the quality of the dinner at least 10x.
Mm.
So connection to me is the key for us to know each other, for us to be able to share, for us to energize each other. You may not need it, somebody else might.
Yeah.
So
Well,
to know me better, reach out. Invite you to reach out. I don't care whatever issue you have. I probably know somebody, somehow to be able to help you. So I just give you a quick story about that. Is I have a customer that I've been doing business for 20 years in Paris. He just hired an employee that need help because she got stuck in Paris and she cannot come back to the US to get her stuck in the apartment. So she gave me the name of the landlord, and I go into Facebook. I found out that she has 7 friends in Facebook that is my dear friends in LA. Of course, I reach out to her and we have a great 1-hour conversation. And the rest is easy. I reach out and I have someone that lives near where she is, and I got it. The whole thing was done in a couple of days. It's all set.
yeah.
And I got many of these examples. You want to know someone somewhere, some country. I have a friend who wants to migrate from China to New Zealand. I say, well, just let me know. Boom, I know it. I know someone. And the wife is the daughter of the what do you call that? The head of the Christian bishop in New Zealand. So I introduce them to them, and they have a great conversation going on. So again, it's reaching out to me, and you'll be surprised of who I know and what I know. I don't
Oh,
write a lot. I wish I can write more, and I just don't have time for it. And English is my fifth or sixth language, so and so I can verbally communicate much better than I can write. How should I say? But
yeah.
if you will help me to write it, go for it.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for this opportunity to get to know you better. I really encourage people to take you up on your invitation to get to know you better. I know you particularly love it when someone asks for help because you're such a servant leader and you really love to help people, and there's so many ways you know how to do that, whether it's your stories or your connections or just helping somebody laugh, like you were telling me before this call, having somebody sing. You have a way of knowing that is there in service of helping other people wherever they're at. So thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's such an honor to be interviewed by you, and it's my dream come true.
Thank you. Well, we'll switch off and you can interview me in a moment.
Okay.
Thank you.